Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about questions that you should be asking before you go and preach. Okay, so it's pretty easy as a communicator to pretty consistently get up and just speak because you got to go. You got to go. You got to preach on a Sunday. You got to preach on a Wednesday, and every week you're going and going and going. And especially in seasons like this, you're kind of doing holiday messages. You're doing maybe not your most passionate message because it's kind of a seasonal thing that you kind of have to talk about. Okay, so what are some things, especially when you're traveling? Okay, traveling, you're going to holiday, and you're going to be a guest speaker somewhere, and you're speaking a message that you've already preached before. It's really easy to just kind of phone it in and just kind of preach it. And hey, I've already done this. I know the high spots. I know the low spots. I kind of know how to do this. I got it. Okay. Or you're just in a rhythm. You're preaching, to your same group. It's kind of easy to just kind of get, well, it's just another Wednesday night, just another Sunday. So here's some things as you are getting ready to preach. Here's some questions. I encourage you to ask these before you get to even close. So, if you preach on Wednesdays, ask this question on Tuesday as you're preparing. Ask these questions. If you're preaching on Sunday, ask yourself on Thursday as you're finishing up, or Fridays you're finishing up, and ask these questions to yourself. The number one is have I truly prayed over this message? Again, especially if you are traveling and speaking and you've already preached this message before, it's really easy for you to just say, well, I got this. I've done this before. I'm good. I'll just go for it. But to really pray over it and say, God, breathe life on this word. Or, maybe you're doing a series and you're just not as passionate about it. You pray about it. Really pray about that message. Number two is the message in my heart and not just my head? How do you get it from your head? It's just head knowledge. It's facts on a page. But how do we ask? We got to ask, Holy Spirit, breathe life into these words. Make it impacting my heart that, man, this is meaningful to me. It's not just things I'm regurgitating from a commentary. It's not just things that I'm regurgitating from my book study, or some great quote that I heard, but that is actually in my heart, that I'm passionate about this, that I care about this, that it is actually impacting me. The third thing is has this message personally convicted me in my own life? Does it mean anything to me, right? Is it challenging to me? Do I feel like, and this is important to me? Do I have a burden for this word that's transformed my life? Can I truly say this word that I'm about to give is meaningful to me, and it's not just regurgitating some words or regurgitating some information, but I'm actually passionate about what I'm saying because it's impacted me. A lot of pastors will say, man, hey, I'm just preaching to myself today. Well, that's really a good spot to be when you're just saying, man, this is really a word for me. Is there, and it may not be the whole message, it may not be the whole thing. Is there at least some elements of this that is challenging to you personally? Number four is, am I trying to impress them or help them? Okay, this one's big. This one's really big. And I think this is one that has meant a lot to me. This is a question that I wrestle with a lot, because for me, I like to use big illustrations. I like to use big videos or big dramas or big music or whatever it might, some kind of big element for people to remember the message by. I know even right now it's really tempting to have all these like really tweetable quotes or tweetable things, or sermon image gifs, all these things, right, that we can have these snippets, these sound bites. it's really tempting to try and have all of these perfectly laid out and trying to manufacture that, to try and say, man, look how eloquent I am, or how great am I at coming up with these these words, or whatever it might be, this slogan or this phrase, right? But are we truly communicating in a way that is to help people, not just to try and impress them with our great illustration or our great wordsmithing, right? I mean, Paul even said, hey, I don't preach with eloquent words. I'm not here to. Now, look, I think there's a balance here. We've got to work on it and not be sloppy. It takes a lot of work to be simple. It takes a lot of work to speak with clarity. So it's different. It's different than trying to impress people. I think it's, it takes a lot of work to truly communicate in a way that's helpful to people. So this is not an excuse to be lazy and just say, well, hey, I'm not trying to impress anybody. No. That's being lazy. So work on your words, work on your delivery, work on all of that. But is it truly with a heart that says, I'm trying to help them? Right, and not just I'm trying to impress them with my my quotes or my tweetables or whatever it might be. I'm not trying to impress them. I'm trying to truly help them. Right. So it might take you a lot of work, but is it for helping them or for trying to impress them? Is it trying to make, oh man, look at how good I am? But no. I'm trying to help you. So it takes a lot of work to know your audience, to know what they need, to how to communicate to that need. That takes a lot of work. So I'm not saying here this is an excuse to just kind of wing it or to just kind of go with it. No. This is saying, like, work at it to say, I really want to help you, not I'm just trying to impress you. That last one is do I really love these people? Do you really care for the people that you're communicating to, or is it just something that you're doing? And that's something you got to really pray about, check your heart about. And do you really care? Again, if you're traveling and speaking, get to know your people a little bit. Ask your host for a lot of questions. Do a little bit of study of the people you're talking to. Get to know that city, that church a little bit, and get to know them. And if this is your people you're speaking to always, do you really care for them? Do you love for them? And if you don't, ask the Holy Spirit to give you a burden for them and to care deeply about them. Because it is hard to communicate to people that you don't really care about. Okay, you got to have compassion, got to have understanding for them, and that is really where you're going to have the best messages. Where you know your people enough to say, I care about them, I love for them, and I'm speaking this to truly help them, not just to try and impress them. Okay. So there's 5 questions. Let me go through them again that you can ask yourself as you're preparing your sermon, as you're preparing to preach. Number 1 is have I truly prayed over this message? Come on, guys, we've got to pray. Number 2 is the message in my heart and not just in my head? Get it in there. Get it in your heart and not just information that you're trying to. We're not teachers. Right? This is not like school teachers. They're not just trying to convey history and just trying to get people to memorize history. This is life changing. Okay. Number 3 has this message personally convicted me in my own life? Does it really mean anything to you? Are you challenged by this? Have you really looked at this as, oh man, I need to make a modification in my own life based on what I'm saying? Am I trying to impress them or help them? Are you really trying to say, and have I drilled down? Have I drilled down enough? Am I communicating in a way that's really helpful, or am I just saying stuff? Right? But there's no application. There's nothing that really can be done with it. Right? Do I really love these people? God, give me a burden for these people. God, give me a heart for these people. So hopefully these questions have been helpful for you. These are 5 questions that I want to encourage you guys to think about, ask yourself. I got these questions from Todd Cruz many years ago. He was speaking, and I wrote these down, and I thought they'd be helpful to share with you guys. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I will be with you guys tomorrow.